They all had this plan that if they were ever separated, this is what we'll do. This will be the plan.
Yeah, and there they stand.
So they have a special spot where they're going to meet up.
All three of them holding a baby. How could those town folk condemn them? But they're just liars.
Got the babies in the canoe, make their way down the river. I mean, some witnesses said that the Harpe women were just as vicious as the men.
So
they were definitely not victims in this. They played an active role, and that they were just as ruthless and cutthroat as the Harpe brothers.
So they weren't like a reluctant bait or a reluctant cover for these maniac men. They're maniac. So you got 6 crazy-ass people going around.
Well, that's what some reports say. A posse was sent after them, but one of the men that was part of the posse, they ended up finding him dead, and it was described as basically he was just mutilated. They knew that he'd likely ran into the Harpes.
So what happened then? The posse was like, we're going to the house.
Well, I mean, if you ran into the Harpes, you were dead. They were notorious at this time. I mean, if you heard the words, the Harpes were coming, you better get the hell out of the way.
Wow.
The posse knows, okay, here's our guy. He's dead. He's been butchered. He must have found the Harpes. A $300 reward is placed on the heads of the Harpes by James Garrard, who was the Kentucky governor. And they become public enemy number 1. And by the way, $300 then was close to about $50,000 by today's standards.
That's a pretty decent little reward.
Yeah, this is a fuck ton of money back
right.
then. The Harpes reunite with their wives, and they make their way north toward Illinois, where they manage to kill 5 more people along the way.
It's a fuck ton a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
It's a lot.
Okay.
Near the Ohio River, the Harpes meet up with Samuel Mason, a river pirate who had a gang holed up in Cave in Rock, which is a natural cave on the banks of the river, kind of on the Illinois side of the Ohio River. At this time, the Harpes had 2 wives and 3 children in tow.
Poor little babies, all I can tell you.
Though the Samuel Mason gang was considered ruthless pirates, even they were reportedly appalled at the actions of the Harpes. Samuel Mason didn't agree with the Harpes' practice of kidnapping travelers, taking them to the top of the bluff and pushing them off to their death. They were disposing of bodies by ripping the victims from chin to navel, filling the cavity with stones, and throwing them into the river. Mason was worried the stories would get the attention of the law. And he's a river pirate. He's hiding out. He doesn't want the law on his back.
No, he doesn't want a bunch of people searching up and down the damn river where he's hiding at.
He likes robbing these, ships and stuff.
I'm a damn river pirate.
And
here comes these maniacs cutting people up left and right.
I'm just here to steal. I'm not trying to, viciously murder people.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, if the women had not been there, Mason and the others probably would have tried to kill the Harpes.
Out of self-preservation in many respects. Yeah.
Now, eventually the Mason gang is going to make them leave. I mean, if you're meaner than a pirate, that's pretty fucking bad, right?
Like the pirate gang is talking about it late at night, I just don't know. They go overboard. Did you see what he did to that lad yesterday?
I mean,
is that a pirate?
Taught
yeah, he had a great accent.
Vicious
yeah.
pirates are. I mean,
right.
You think of Blackbeard, you think of these guys who just rape and pillage and murder and steal and don't give a fuck. I mean, if you got those guys saying, these dudes are mean as hell, that's fucking mean.
So if you offend pirates, you're fucked.
I guess.
Okay.
That means that you're pretty
bad.
You mean. You're the baddest of the bad.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 years, they've managed to slice their way through the frontier.
And I'm sure their reputation precedes them.
Oh, it does. Now, the brothers return to eastern Tennessee. They kill a farmer, a guy named Hardin, a young boy, another body had been disemboweled and thrown into a river, a man named Brassel had his throat slit, and a man named John Tully. So this totaled about 6 more victims on their way into Tennessee. In Kentucky, a man named John Graves and his teenage son had been decapitated with axes.
My God.
In Logan County, the Harps killed a young slave girl and an entire family that slept in a camp.
They're just killing anyone they see.
They go to Kentucky or to Tennessee. They kill all these people. Then they go into Kentucky. I mean, they're leading this like nomadic life. And remember, they've got wives and babies in tow.
I'm sure those babies are going to be well adjusted.
They've got bounty hunters tracking them. I mean, at this point, it's not a matter of like, if we get caught, it's when we get caught kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like they're out to kill as many people, period, as they can before they do.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason to these murders other than you happen to find us along the way.
Well, see,
so we're going to kill you, and maybe we'll rob you. We might get something out of you, but we might not. We're just killing you for fun. It's like a sport.
There's they're not covering up a crime. It's not witnesses because people still know it's the damn Harpe brothers. When they kill them, mutilate the shit out of their bodies and throw the carcass out. So they're just doing it. I mean, it's, robbery might be the
just indiscriminate
motivation in the beginning, but they just like killing.
They do, and there's no. Like I said, no rhyme or reason because they're just killing indiscriminately men, women, children.
Who are like the family
boys,
living
girls,
in a camp. Like
slaves, free people. I mean, they don't care.
You could rob them, tie them up, leave them, and they're probably not going to come after you, right? They're probably going to be glad to be alive. And who are they going to tell? Quickly. Nobody. Just kill the shit out of the whole family.
Now, one of the most horrific crimes that would take place is in August 1799. When Big Harpe bashed the head of his infant daughter against a tree because she was crying and it annoyed him.
Jesus.
He grabs Sarah Rice's baby by the legs and then hits the baby's head against the tree. Now, days after the murder, the brothers head north where they decide they're going to go find some friends and call in some debts that they're owed.
Okay. Cashing out.
They've got the law on their back, bounty hunters tracking them down.
Pay me or I'll kill you.
These women, I'm sure, are feeling some type of way after the baby has been killed. Yeah. So these guys are like, okay, we got to get the hell away from y'all for a little bit. We got to get some money together. They go up north. Another man named Towbridge was found disemboweled in an area of Highland Creek. So they knew that the Harpes had probably gotten to him. The Harpes took up shelter at a home in Webster County, Kentucky, where they killed a man named Major William Love. Moses Stiegel had only left for one night. When he returns to his cabin, it's burned down. Now, Stiegel was kind of, from what I understand, a lowlife himself, and he had owed the Harpes some money. At some point, they met Stiegel along the way. He tells them, like, I'm going here, but my wife, Mary, is at home at the cabin. If you stop by there, she'll pay you, I think it was $1.
Oh.
She'll pay you the money, go by the cabin. They pop by her cabin. She pays them $1. They ask to spend the night. And this was very common at the time that, people are traveling along. They may ask you, hey, can you spare a room? Can you spare a meal?
Well,
and it was just
there's no
commonplace. It was hospitable. It's just what you did.
Well, yeah, there was no hospitality industry. It was just, yeah.
If you ask someone, a traveler, I mean, most of the time people were going to accommodate you because this was just what people did.
And you would expect the same when you're traveling.
So she tells them, yeah, they can sleep in the barn. They can spend the night. There was probably around $40 in the house. And I guess when she paid them the $1, they could see she had some money.
Classic mistake.
Well, the next morning, the Harpes ask Mary if she's going to be able to make them breakfast. And she has a baby. It's sick. She's like, I've got to tend to my sick baby. I don't think I'm going to be able to cook for you guys because my son's sick or whatever.
Right, because that's not easy.
The brothers offer to watch the sick child so that Mary can cook. Mary, at some point after she's made breakfast, goes in to check on the baby and finds that her child's throat has been slit.
What the hell?
Freaking out, I'm sure, runs back into the kitchen. Little Harpe cuts her throat. Then they sit down and finish their breakfast. They set the cabin on fire. So remember, her husband, Moses, has only been gone for one night.
Right.
Hey, so he's on his way home. He finds the bodies of his wife and infant baby.
my God.
And he knows that the Harps were coming by there to collect the money that he owed them. Revenge is on his mind. A witness comes forward and describes the two men. One of them had flaming red hair. It matches that of the Harps, the Harpe brothers. You know, Stiegel knew who they were, knew that they'd been in the cabin. I mean, so he knows that they've killed his wife and child.
And he sent him there to his house.
So he is like fucking furious.
Right.
Moses Stiegel joined a posse led by a man named John Leeper. Now, the Harps are starting to feel the squeeze.
Well, they should be. I mean, they've been on their ass for all this time, basically.
They hit the trails again. Now, along the way, the gang was hiding out when they end up being discovered by the posse. Now, Sarah Rice is staying in a cabin with the Harps, and the posse creeps up. They find Sarah in the house. Now, remember, they've killed her child. Big Harpe killed her baby.
How? That's one of the most horrible things I've ever heard.
Weeks before this.
Yeah.
She tells the posse where to find the brothers. It's going to come back to bite them in the ass. Yeah, so she tells on them. She was still angry over her baby's death, so, you know, she didn't care to rat them out. Now, Little Harpe manages to escape on his horse, while Big Harpe, not so much. He's refusing to surrender. He gets shot in the leg by the guy Leeper, and Leeper was able to drag Big Harpe off his horse as he's trying to get away. He's bleeding. He's shot in the leg. A Leeper gets Harpe basically on the ground and then uses Harpe's tomahawk to subdue him.
Oh,
so grabs his own tomahawk.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you was going to say he cut him up with it like he did so many victims.
Now, Harpe's bleeding. He's on his deathbed. And while he's laying there bleeding out, he confesses to 20 murders. And I guess the bullet, like where it hit him in the leg, it basically paralyzed him. So he can't move. He's laying there. So while he's still alive, Moses Stiegel cut off Big Harpe's head. He told the man that, now this is what I find so interesting, and this is what's been written, you know, this is the legend, that while Moses Stiegel is cutting off Big Harpe's head, which was not a quick process, that Big Harpe says to him, "You're a rough butcher, but go on and be done with it."
Wow.
Instead of begging for his own life.
Oh no, that crazy psychopath's not going to beg for shit.
"You're a rough butcher, go on and be done with it." Now, he would later display this head on a spike near his cabin, which is going to become known as Harpe's Head Road in Webster, Kentucky.
Dude,
Webster County, Kentucky.
We need to go there.
Moses Stiegel and Sarah Rice both managed to get their revenge on Big Harpe.
So what about Little Harpe?
The three Harpe women are again on trial for their husbands' crimes.
But probably their crimes too.
They stand trial, but once again are able to go free. The women go back to their families and go on to have relatively normal lives after this. I mean, it's been reported, I believe one of the women went to Illinois, married, had more kids. I believe one of them stayed in Tennessee. After they're done with this chapter, I mean, they move on and no more crimes, settle down.
Could you imagine
raise families?
The grandkids? "Hey, Granny, you know any crazy stories?"
Yeah.
Well,
young'uns, I got a good one for you.
Get some cider and have a seat.
Now, you asked about Little Harpe. He escaped the ambush and went back to the Ohio River Gang led by Samuel Mason.
Okay.
The River Pirates. He was using an alias, John Sutton, and was able to pass for about 4 years undetected.
Damn, he's doing pretty good.
The body count of these pirates grows, and Little Harpe had no loyalty to Mason like he did his brother. I mean, he would have absolutely done anything, you know, for Big Harpe. But with Samuel Mason, not so much.
He's just using them.
There is a bounty placed on Samuel Mason's head, so Little Harpe and another man try to claim that bounty. Mason is killed, and it's not clear whether Little Harpe actually killed Mason, or if someone else perhaps did, but he shows up with Mason's head trying to get the money. It was at this time that he's discovered to be an outlaw himself.
Yeah, that was probably not that great of a plan.
He was arrested. Now he escaped.